What do you got, Coach? 3 things that all coaches need. Who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of coaches?
New York or the Aces? Definitely going with the Aces.
All right, 4th down. Who has the tougher job, coaches or officials? If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? But Texas is different. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Coaches Co-op, where coaches connect, grow, and share the grind. I'm your host. My name is Michael Prejean. Most people know me as Coach P. Each week, I am teaming up with coaches across the country to break down the wins, the lessons, and everything in between. This week, I am teaming up with Brianna Taylor, the head girls basketball coach at Lake Creek High School. Brianna Taylor is a Houston, Texas native, graduated from Dekaney High School in 2013. If you know anything about high school girls basketball in that era, Dekaney was an absolute problem. She played college basketball at the University of Texas, was the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year her senior year. She is entering her 2nd year as the head basketball coach at Lake Creek High in Montgomery, Texas. Y'all put your hands together and welcome Coach Bree Taylor. Coach, how are you today?
I'm great. I'm glad to be on the show. Just looking at your intro, that's hard to follow. You got some goats on there. You got Coach PV. I'm like, oh Lord.
Definitely not hard to follow. You are going to be in that conversation one day. I believe it. So if you want to, if you stick around the game long enough, if you stay on the coaching side long enough, because, I don't know. I don't know if people are going to hang around the game as long. I think there may need to be some things that shift, somewhere in between there. But that's another story for another time. Coach, thank you so much for your time. I'm truly, truly glad that you chose today to come on with us. So before we jump into anything, Coach, before we get into Talk That Talk, when we were talking earlier, I told you that I wanted to ask you about this. So let me share my screen real quick. All right, this image right here. So this is the picture, right? So this is 2 weeks ago at TABC Showcase. I came across this picture. I think it was on Twitter. And I was like, okay, coach is coming on the pod. I gotta ask her about this. So I don't know if y'all can read the board, but it says 2 hands, get on the floor, post presence, and number 1 has no left. Coach, give us the details of this picture. Give us the circumstance.
I have a young team, and I say we're in a rebuilding year. And as a well-experienced coach as yourself, you kind of know what that looks like in terms of some of the immaturity and things, that the bumps and bruises you're going to take early on. So TABC was 2 weeks ago, and I did a little bit of scouting prior to our first game. Obviously, most coaches do. And so this is a conversation that I've had with my team. We've already discussed the scout. We've seen their players. And they're well coached, and much respect to their young point guard. I think she's very crafty, very heady player. She'll have a great career. But we all players have limitations. And so after telling my players numerous times, we want to really pressure her, and we want to shade her to make her go left. And not that, and I tell all players, I'm not telling you to Ole. We're not giving them straight line drives, right? I mean, any decent player is going to be able to make a left hand layup, left, right, go up. But this is a player who we saw on the sideline. She was having issues when we were pressuring her and sending her to her left side. She would fumble it. She's looking down, things like that. So, I'm telling them during the game on the sideline. And so this had to be halftime. And I go over to my assistant. Number one, I'm like, exactly. Like what you're saying is exactly what I'm going to reiterate to the team. And it's really funny because as soon as I wrote it, it wasn't that I was posing with it on my head. I just kind of set it on my head for a second. And as soon as I set it there, I saw a guy run by, snap a picture, and he ran off. And I said, oh my gosh, that's going to be everywhere. And it was. It's everywhere. But yes, I mean, again, much respect to that coach and that team and that player. But I'm going to try to find the breakdown. I'm going to try to find where we have the advantage and exploit their weaknesses. And that's where it was. So just trying to convey that to my team.
So let's just, before we get into talk and all of those things, how do you like TABC?
I think it's a great opportunity for players. I mean, we participated in it last year, and I thought it was awesome last year. I'm like, oh, we got some faces on the sidelines. We got some heavy hitters on the sidelines this year. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a coach. You would think it's the live period for an AAU tournament. Like we're on the circuit. I think it is a lot of basketball still. I've been saying, I guess since there's been multiple circuit teams on the AAU level, now there's Adidas, there's still the EYBL level, there's Under Armour, there's a Puma circuit, there's all these freaking circuits, P24 circuits. It's a lot of basketball for these kids. I love that this gives us time to really focus in on our high school team during the summer. UIL has permitted us to, get with them a little bit. And so we can see what this looks like in terms of the next season, but I still think it's a lot of basketball. I think it's a ton of basketball, especially for those kids who are playing AAU and then they come back into this system where it's not going to be the same. You're on these circuits where you're probably playing against some of the best, and on your high school team, that's not always the story. And so now it's you see this attitude that some of these players have, like, well, I haven't been doing this for the past month and a half, 2 months. And it's like, well, this is your high school team. Welcome back.
Right.
So just trying to find a balance of, hey, this is not your AAU team. And I love that you've been working on these things and that is your role at AAU. So I think it's kind of confusing for the players, but it's a great opportunity. I think it's a great opportunity for us coaches to see what teams are going to look like, for us to do some early scouting. I mean, I saw some, of our district coaches on the sidelines. And so I don't know. I see both sides of it. I see it as just more basketball to be played, but I also see it as a great opportunity for the kids, scouting opportunity for the coaches, and to see what our team may look like in the next, couple months or so.
Okay, good stuff. Just listening to you, good points, all excellent points. I love the opportunity to coach our kids. As I was listening to you talk, the one thought that I had was it would be really cool if this was actually in like April.
Yes.
This would be really cool if it's like in April, because so TABC committee, let me see, Coach Chapman.
Yeah.
Coach Jeffrey Chapman.
Yeah.
If this gets to your ears, So
I may be interested. I could get on board with that. I can see how there may be some conflict with AAU coaches who are going to contend for, their teams and getting them prepared for the live period and all those things. I can see how there would have to be a conversation about, what would this look like in terms of the live period? Would we have to restructure some things? But I like that. I like that, some people are doing spring leagues. They're in the gym with their kids. They shouldn't be in terrible condition. So let's see what this looks like as soon as we're done with school. I like that.
Yeah. And that's, I know there would definitely be hurdles there, just having multi-sport kids, but I'm just thinking from the standpoint of, I see my kids every day.
Yeah, every day.
So I don't have to fight hey, I need y'all to get up here for SAC and SSI so we can get in the gym, just all those different things. Okay, just just something I wanted to ask. Okay, coach, we're going to do this. This segment is called Talk That Talk. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to talk about all of the great things that are going on in your program, in your building, in the Lake Creek Athletic Program overall, and in your community. So this is where you get the opportunity to big up Lake Creek. Taylor, I need you to talk that talk.
Oh man, I love my community. I love the district that I'm in. I think that I get a ton of admin support, and I tell coaches all the time that's huge. I can make or break a coach's career and just their attitude towards coaching and all the things. So I think we have tremendous support on the athletic side from the admin perspective. We just got a new AD, district AD, and I just love how hands-on he's been. He's been very engaged. He's on campus. He's popping into practices. He's at all of the games, different things that are happening around just athletics in general. Our softball team just won state, so shout out to them. They're awesome. We have a great softball program. As far as our culture and my team is concerned, I just love the excitement around basketball. I just alluded to this. Our softball team won state. We're a huge softball community. We're a huge volleyball community. And I love seeing girls who are now asking, hey, is it possible to play both? What if I want to play soccer and I want to play basketball? Is it possible to be a two-sport athlete? Is it, I want to come to camp, but I also want to go to this camp? And I think in previous years, there's been the Cheney Spencer era where there's this really good coach's kid who's coming through the program. There was Matt Golden. Same thing, we have this big who's coming through the program. And then it was supposed to be, okay, Lake Creek is going to have this huge drop off once these kids graduate. But going down to the middle school, I make a conscious effort to do that once a week because we talk about just speaking the same language. I think it should be consistent. Our verbiage has to be similar because while I say, look, I'm not reinventing the wheel here, I'm just the messenger. There's different coaching philosophies. And while we may be trying to convey the same thing, we may be using different terminology. So I don't want that to be something that's learned when they get to me, maybe a refresher, so it's very consistent. I think that's important that we're building them from middle school before they get to high school. I'm taking my kids over there because just like we have camp coming up tomorrow, I tell them, y'all are the superstars. Like, yeah, they like me, but they love y'all. They want to be y'all. They want to be in your shoes. Think about when you were in middle school and, you got to go to the high school games and you're like, I can't wait to be out there. You're not thinking, I can't wait to sit beside Coach Bree. Like, you're not thinking that. So I really try to make it an effort to show that, we're not a Duncanville. Nah, we're not a Powerhouse DeSoto, but giving girls the opportunities that they want. Like, I'm going to open the gym whenever they ask me to. I try not to ever tell them no. I make sure that I'm accessible and they have those opportunities because there's so much of this game that contributes to that, we can learn about life. And I don't have a lot of players who aspire to play at the next level and beyond. I have a couple, but those who just want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, I want to make sure that I'm equipping them with the tools that they need to be successful in whatever they endeavor. So the excitement is there. And I'm just really excited about that. I'm excited that the kids are excited about girls basketball. So yeah.
That's huge. And, I just want to point out that we love kids who play multiple sports. We love kids who play volleyball, kids who play soccer. We have a very prominent professional league on our side. So young ladies, come on over to basketball.
Yes.
Y'all come on over to basketball. You can, if you can see it, you can be it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And I tell them, hey, if you want to, I will make it work. And even with soccer, I say, it is very, very, very challenging. I'm not going to lie to you. It's so challenging, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. I've seen it done. I've seen kids who get to playoffs and they're like, hey, I got to focus on soccer. I've seen kids who just make it work. So I tell them all the time, if you're really willing to sit down and we can carve out some time to talk about what these schedules look like, where is the overlap? Where can I get you? Where can we prioritize this game, this practice, whatever? And I'm willing to make it work with your coaches, your parents, and whomever.
That's it. And I'm going to name drop here. I was sitting in a conference and I was talking to Kim Oliphant. Okay. And she was twins. She had 6'3" twins, and
Okay.
one was a volleyball kid.
Yeah.
Right? She was a basketball coach, but one of those kids was a volleyball kid, big time volleyball kid. And she just talked about making it work for that kid.
Right.
And what that looks like. You
Yes.
know, that kid may not be here on this day, that day, and that day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But we have to do things as coaches that work for kids. I think sometimes we just have to make sure that we take our ego out of it as coaches. All right, coach.
Yes.
So you played at Dekaney. I was an assistant coach at Spring when you were at Dekaney. And when I tell you, we hated to play y'all. We already knew we didn't have a chance coming into the game. Okay, so we already knew that. What was it like at Dekaney playing for Coach Stroman? Here's the context I want to give you. Okay. When I became the head coach at Spring, and I want to say, I don't remember who was playing for Dekaney at the time, but I want to say Coach Stroman had moved on.
Okay.
I want to say Coach Larissa was the head coach there. Mm-hmm. And one of our kids who had played against you guys when she was at Spring, she and her mom came to the game, and Dekaney, they beat us handily. They probably beat us by about 20 or so. I'm talking to the mom after the game, and she's like, y'all lost to that Dekaney? Because the Dekaney that she knew was the Dekaney of your era. I try to tell kids today that no. Y'all don't know anything about Dekaney.
Yeah.
So what was it like playing for Dekaney during that time under Stacy Stroman?
Oh, it was fun. It was so fun. It was culture. It was a winning culture that you had to see it and be a part of it to believe it. When I try to tell kids about it now, I'm like, it feels like it seems unreal. Like everything was culture. I remember like everything was consistent across the athletic department. You just won at Dekaney. You just won. And I mean, I remember pre-games. I remember like there being standing room only. I remember it like the clapping we would do behind the bleachers, the chants we would do, and the crowd would get into the chants. Like it was a show. And we wanted to entertain people. And I think Stroman, people truly don't talk about her enough. I'm like, this lady is a goat. Like, and I had to text her. I remember when Dee Dee Richards won Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. Like she won Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, but then she won Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. I said, you coached both of us. Like you coached the both of us.
Yeah.
Like that has to feel, wow. Like that's legendary status. And I mean, there's Kathy Self-Morgan, who is legendary high school coach. There's so many legendary high school coaches that you can talk about, but I think Stacy Stroman needs to be in that conversation. I mean, I tell people, look, I think our top eight went P4 or P5 back then. And it just felt normal. But if we talk about Dekaney, we have to talk about the district as well, because I think every Tuesday, Friday was a dogfight. And we would beat people, right? But it wasn't like steamrolling. People weren't just laying down and dying. I mean, we're facing Con Collins, who has Beja Hamilton and Dominique Dillingham on the team, amongst others who went on to play college basketball. I mean, y'all had Bernie on y'all's team. Y'all had the kid who went to UNT at Spring. Like you had multiple like really, really good basketball players. And that was on every single team. Now you're playing teams who like kids don't even want to play the collegiate basketball, or you're playing teams who they're just learning how to catch the ball. They're just, So I tell my kids, like, Dekaney was a powerhouse and it was fun. Practices were hard. The drama on our team was few and far between, if at all. If there was any drama, the next day it was resolved, because we wanted to win more than we wanted to hate each other. Like, and we were truly best friends. Like my mom let me only hang out with my teammates. So the chemistry that we had, it was on the court, it was off the court. You saw one in the hallway, you saw the others in the hallway. So that was just the culture. And we really did love each other. So I think that went on for some time. That went on I want to say at least like 3 or 4 years after I graduated. Dekaney was still really, really good. And
yeah,
I mean, Stroman she had it rolling. She did. And I think that, yes, there were some really good athletes. There were some really good players, but the culture was, we're not doing that here. We don't beef. We don't have, it was just love and win, and we did it together. So, yeah.
In preparing for your episode today, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, why haven't I called Stacy Stroman to come on the podcast?
She's amazing.
I mean, you are correct. Her name needs to be mentioned.
Absolutely.
In some of those names, and she's, of course, she's still coaching. She's still hanging around. Yeah. I love to see her, whenever we go out to tournaments, and just to kind of talk to her, just about little small things. So Coach Stroman, I'm going to call her whenever we're
put her on.
So I want to ask this. I mean, we haven't even gotten to some of the other stuff yet.
Sure.
In your opinion, I know what my opinion is. Is basketball in the greater Houston area at that level that it was when you were playing at Dekaney?
I almost cussed.
Okay, so we're on the same page.
I almost cussed. Absolutely not. Absolutely. I'm telling you, every Tuesday, Friday was a dog fight. Every Tuesday, Friday was a dog fight. It didn't matter. It didn't matter who we were playing. If we blew a team out, it was still that team. We win by 15, and it would be a disappointment. We'd walk away with our heads hanging because teams did not go away. And everybody had somebody on their team who was a Power 5 kid, at least D1, least D1. And they had role players who were dogs.
Yeah.
And it was just a different type of mental toughness different type of grit, different type of passion. Kids now, I think, are highly skilled and don't know what to do with it a ton. They're highly skilled. They're equipped with all they can go between legs, behind the back, step back, three.
Yes.
Maybe not the best shot selection, but they have all the things. But and maybe we didn't have all the tools. I can't tell you I faced a kid every single night who could go between the legs, behind the back, step back. That was few and far between if you did.
Yeah.
But the mental toughness, the motors, the athleticism you would face.
Yes.
It was different. It was different. The coaching was different.
Yes. I can tell you. So I can tell you right now, when Veja gets to the elbow, that's money.
That's money.
That's money. Right. And you know where she's going.
She's getting to her spot.
You know where she's going, but she's going to get to that spot and it's going to be money. Dominique Dillingham, just an absolute dog. And like, you're watching her and you don't think anything special is happening. And then you look in the book at the end of the game and she's got 19 points. And then you end up getting a chance to see what her stats were. And she had like 19, 10, and 12 steals.
Yes, stat line is crazy.
Yeah.
A dog.
Who was your point guard? Was Alexis Durley your point guard?
Alexis Durley was my point guard. Yeah.
Okay. So I remember at spring, we were absolutely terrible when I got there with Richard. Richard was Stroman's assistant.
Yeah.
When Stroman was at spring. So when we got to spring, we were not very good at all. But we started to get a few kids. We started to kind of build it up, and we became competitive. And I'll never forget, Durley graduates, and we're like, oh, whoo, Durley's gone. And then you get another 4-year starter at point guard who ends up playing at LSU.
Yes.
Just a break. And that is what kids don't understand. Like, they think, because they'll talk about this team and that team, and I'll be like, yeah, they're good, but I've seen better teams.
Yes.
Right? I'm like, that team 10 years ago, that team would have got smacked.
Yes. Like, I see so many teams right now, and they're like, so-and-so is stacked, so-and-so is stacked. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, sure.
Right.
They are stacked for now. They're stacked for what
Right.
it is right now.
They're stacked now. Even I'm not gonna say it. Let me stop.
You don't even have to, because I already know where you're going with this, but I feel you.
Let me stop. Because there are. Let me stop. Let me listen. Let me listen to my inner voice. All right, coach. So you played at Dekaney.
Yeah.
Played under Stroman.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go and you play at UT, get Defensive Player of the Year honors.
Yes.
Where in that cycle did you figure out, hey, I think I want to coach?
Oh man. I said I would never coach. I said I would never ever coach. I never teach. I never have kids. I said all that. After, let me see, grad school. Okay, so I always said that I wanted to further my education as far as I possibly could, because, you know, growing up, I watched my parents work extremely hard. My mom, she finished her associates when I was in high school. Brilliant. My mom was the smartest person I know, but she just sacrificed so much of her time for her kids. And she went back to school, and I was just so proud of her. My dad didn't finish college, but toughest person I know.
Yeah.
And I saw how they struggled, and just the way that my parents raised me, especially my mom. I tell people this all the time. It was like, you would have thought my mom ran a school the way summer was in my house. There was like homemade spelling bees. Everything was competitive with my brother and I. Everything. It was go read that book and go write me a summary. My mom was not playing around. And so like the standard in my house was to be a scholar. Like academics come first, and you don't bring bees in this house. And so when I got the opportunity to be a grad assistant, I just couldn't pass that up. I wanted to commission to be an officer in the Air Force. So I had already had these conversations with the recruiter, like all the things were kind of ready to go. And then Ray Caldwell gave me a call and was like, do you want to be a grad assistant? And I was like, what? Like, why me? Like, why would you? And he talked about just, you know, the respect that he had for me and the way that I played against his daughter and just the competitive nature. And he was just like, you were the first person to come to mind. And so thinking about all those things, and gosh, I wouldn't have to pay for grad school. And I do want to pay for grad school. I mean, I want to go to grad school. I had to capitalize on the opportunity. So kind of getting my foot in the door and seeing like the other side of things made me realize that I absolutely do not want to be a coach at the collegiate level. That's not me. That's just not my ministry. But being around those kids who just wanted to soak up all the things that I knew, and trying to empower them, giving them little gems here and there. It just was like second nature. It just it felt so organic and natural. And it seemed to be super useful, helpful. And I loved that I could make an impact there. But I thought I was done. Went back to Austin, started working, and then got an opportunity to coach AAU, like little kids, 3rd, 4th grade. And I was just super passionate about it on the sidelines.
The perfect age. I love that age.
Yes, it was great. But I just realized, dang, I'm really passionate about this. And just being able to communicate things to this young age group that would stick, you know, like parents would try to talk to them, older coaches would try to talk to them. And it was just kind of like going in one ear, out the other, over their heads. And I don't know, there was a way that I could communicate with them that like I'm really getting through to them, and I could see the light bulb coming on. And so I just love that. And then I coached at Westlake High School. And I was just kind of working my way up. I was the freshman coach, JV coach, varsity assistant, and I loved it. I treated my little freshman team like I was a varsity assistant, and I still had a huge responsibility as the freshman coach, and pouring into the varsity team as well. And so I loved it. I loved how, again, I was able to make an impact. I love that I didn't have anyone like that growing up. I mean, the closest thing I had was Simi Colson was one of my first AAU coaches. His daughter was Sydney. She would come back every now and then, and it was just like, wow, this is a superstar. But beyond that, no offense, it was just a bunch of older Black men who I had as coaches, and it was great. And they were very, very knowledgeable, but I didn't have anyone who looked like me. I didn't have anyone who kind of was in the shoes that I aspired to be in. And so when I saw that, that what was bridging the gap was these kids want to do this one day. And so they're listening to me because they think I know what I'm talking about. Because I kind of done it on some level, in some capacity, right? And so that's when I realized that just kind of once I left Westlake, I didn't really have the aspirations to be a head coach, but I wanted the experience of like, what is it like to be in an interview? What type of questions would they ask?
Mm-hmm.
And starting to get more calls, it was like, wait, like y'all really want me to be a head coach?
Yeah.
Like y'all are serious. And I just prayed about it. I mean, I'm big in my faith, and I just prayed, and I don't know, I asked God to equip me with supernatural confidence to fill those shoes, because I think this is just stewardship, and I think that what we do and the impact that we make, how we leave a mark, like that is very meaningful. And the kids are looking to us for everything. They're soaking up everything. So I want to be a good model for them.
Listen, you said something that is, it hit home for me. These older men, these older Black men, coaches, like I told someone 2 weeks ago, I'm like, hey, well, both of my assistants played for me.
Mm-hmm.
That means the world to me. But I told somebody, hey, I'm here to equip them with everything that they need so that I can get out of their way. Because I believe I love the game. I started coaching young women because my sister played. Okay. I never in my life did I want to coach head. I want to be a high school basketball coach, coaching boys. It's all I've ever wanted to do in my life. My sister decided she wanted to play, and they were absolutely terrible. So I started helping. I ended up coaching girls in the AAU. 20-something years later, here I am. Yeah. But I look at that, and I believe that young women do need someone who looks like them. I believe they need someone who has that experience, who can really have those great conversations with them. And I know that, and I understand that, so my job is to pour into them, to pour it all out, and then get out of the way so that they can go and be great. All right, Coach, let me do my little commercial here.
Okay.
All right, listen, we're going to get back to the conversation in a second, but here at the Coaches Co-op, we're all about building championship level systems on and off the court. This episode is brought to you by The Path for Coaches Volume 1. Let me drop this on your screen. Hold on. Let me get my banner ready. If I had a producer, my banner would already ready, but I don't. All right, right there. Listen, you can go to Amazon.com and you can buy this book, The Path for Coaches, Volume 1, Mentoring. Yours truly does have a chapter in this book. If you want to get a copy from me and you know how to get in touch with me, go ahead and get in touch with me, and then I can get a copy to you as well. Listen, if you're looking to level up your team culture, fine-tune your playbook, stay motivated through the grind, make sure you tap in with us here at the Coaches Co-op. All right. Let's get back to it. We are here in the co-op with Coach Brianna Taylor, Lake Creek High School in Montgomery, Texas. Coach, let me ask this. If you had a Mount Rushmore of coaches, who would be on your Mount Rushmore?
Don Staley, for one. Vic Schafer, I think he's amazing. I don't know, people can say a lot of things about Vic, but I've seen this man. I used to play with his daughter, Blair, and when he got the job at Mississippi State. So even when he was at A&M, just his passion and his confidence on the sideline and his ability to strategize and make adjustments and all those things, and how he could affect the game without being a head coach. I've always thought that was just admirable. Like, that is awesome. Yeah. When he went on to Mississippi State, what I loved about him was he was able to find the Dominique Dillinghams of the world and win. Like dogs, not that Dominique wasn't a no-name, because we knew who Dom was, but there were other kids on the team who I'm like, who is this kid just playing with their heart on their jersey? So he was able to get the most out of kids without having a team full of McDonald's All-Americans. And that was just, I thought that was huge. And he's able to get the best of the best, who are like highly ranked and all those things, but he's getting them to play so hard on the biggest stage.
That's an amazing skill.
It's like you're getting Gloria Harmon, who's a dog. She's a dog, yes. But you're getting these kids to all rise to her level. And I'm not talking about putting the ball in the hole. Like I'm watching kids get multiple 5-second calls, like backcourt. Like I'm watching these kids. I don't know. It fires something in me. Like I want to be the coach like that. I want to be able to get kids to play really, really hard.
Hold on. I need to write something in my notebook. If coach emails you about playing Lake Creek, say no. I had to make sure I wrote that down. Okay.
I did. Okay, yes. So there's Vic, Geno, obviously, because he's a winner. And I love his relationships. I think you can tell a lot about a coach when the kids, the alum, have such great things to say about them. I mean, you hear Tuber, Diane Taurasi. I mean, you're hearing the greats speak highly of this man. They love him. They have a great relationship with him. They joke with him. I think that's very telling about a coach and their character. When, what happens on the court, the passion, the competitive nature, but it's still loving and nurturing beyond the court. So Geno, who else? I don't know if I put Tara Vanderveer up there, but she's one of my goats. I've had an opportunity to play against her multiple times, and I was starstruck. Like, I cannot believe I'm playing against this legendary coach. And then, of course, who I should have said first was Pat Summitt. My freshman year, we played Tennessee. We played Tennessee every year. It was like that UT rivalry. Yeah. And a coach was on the sideline, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm playing against this lady. Like, this is insane to me. So yeah, those are my Mount Rushmore of coaches. I think. I have to put Kara Lawson up there too. If Kara Lawson ever asked me, and I said I would never, ever, ever coach college basketball, but if Kara calls me, I'm going to Duke. I'm going to Duke.
Yeah, go to Duke. Go to Duke so I can root. I already root for Duke anyway because she gives the best sound bites.
Yes.
Right. She gives the best sound bites that we can use as clips to teach our kids.
Yes.
So I'm sure some of your kids are gonna tune in to watch this. Okay. Yeah. Some of your players. So Tara Vanderveer kids was at Stanford. Okay. Kara Lawson is at Duke. You mentioned another name in your questionnaire that I really want to make sure we talk about because I think because she's on the West Coast, she's one of the best kept secrets, and a lot of people miss out on all of the great things. Corey Close.
Oh my gosh, Corey Close is goated.
Yes.
What?
Of course, with the great year UCLA had this year and Lauren Betts, so people got to see them a lot more. But she's been doing work
brilliant
for quite a while.
I watch her. I don't follow a lot of head coaches, but the ones that I mentioned, I follow. And Corey Close, I'm saving her videos like every day.
If you want to learn how to practice, watch Corey Close
every day. And she is involved. She's not, hands folded. No, she's passing. She's giving directives. She's in it. She's engaged. I love her mind. I love her, just a higher level thinker. I aspire to be just the X's and O's. I want to that's the standard for me. If I get there, I'm at Duke.
Yeah, and coach, listen, because you have the hunger, because you have that growth mindset, there's no doubt in my mind you're going to get there. All right, before we transition, coach, talk about Tatiana Lee.
Lee.
Let me talk about Tatiana Lee before. Tatiana Lee, I'm going to look right in this camera right here. Tatiana Lee, I've asked you multiple times to come on this podcast. Period. I'm going to stop there. Okay, coach, go ahead. Talk about Tatiana
Coach Lee, and I call her Coach Lee to this day. I would never call her Tatiana Lee to her face. I don't even know. Her name in my phone is saved under Coach Lee. Is a dog of a coach.
Yes.
And is an even more amazing person. And I think that is like the highest, like the most amazing thing you can say about a person. She is a dog of a coach, but an even more amazing person. She was my assistant when I was at Dekaney. And we did not have the best relationship. And I tell my kids this all the time, is I was a terrible teammate. I was a terrible person. I was very arrogant. And I was well aware that I was a good basketball player. And I let everybody know it. And
she was good, y'all.
Yeah. And I needed to be humbled. And there weren't many people who were willing to, but Coach Lee did. And I will always thank her for this. One day we had a team meeting and she just told me, you walk around here like you don't stink. And I was like, eh? And that made me be extremely introspective about who I was, not as a basketball player, but who am I as a person? And how am I pouring back into people who look at me and say, damn it, she might be a pretty good basketball player. How can I get there someday? And I wasn't good at that. And so when I came back to Houston, the first person I thought to connect with, because I think mentorship is huge. And you ask, what's something that a coach needs? And I think mentorship. A coach needs a mentor. And it doesn't matter how old you are, how experienced you are. I think everyone needs someone who can pour into them. Wise counsel. And that's who Coach Lee is for me. Whether I just need to vent, whether I'm like, hey, this happened. What should I do? This is how I responded to this. Was that a good thing? Whether it's a scheduling question, there are some things that I'm not privy to. And I am always seeking to grow, whether it's like, situational things on the court or things that extend beyond the gym, and especially in the office. I'm like, hey, I need someone to help me. And that's Coach Lee for me. And I think she's brilliant and she's competitive, and she will be one of those greats. When it's all said and done, she'll be one of those greats. She actually told me if I'm still doing this in 8 years, she'll be my assistant. So I'm holding her to that, because I would love to coach with her. I think that would be absolutely amazing, or vice versa. I would be her assistant in a heartbeat.
Listen, you are not the first person who has come on this podcast and given Coach Lee her flowers.
Yes.
So we definitely, Coach Stroman, Coach Lee,
yes,
got to get you on the podcast. I get the chance to coach against her twice a year, district play. And what I love about it is I know what she's going to do.
Yeah.
She knows what I'm going to do,
mm-hmm.
And it's about, who's prepared their kids better.
Right.
And I love that about Coach Lee. I got the opportunity to go and root for them in the playoffs this year, second round game. So I got the chance to sit behind her bench and really just watch her. And I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved watching her coach, from a fan's perspective, from a spectator perspective, instead of having to necessarily coach against her. So that was absolutely fun. All right, Coach, I have a couple of questions for you. These are from Instagram, okay?
Okay.
So let me get these pulled up. So the first question, and maybe let's see, you might know these people.
Okay.
So this question is from Bailey _Burns 2027.
Yeah.
Okay. Bailey Burns wants to know, are you a shooter?
Tell her I shoot better than her today.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. I shoot better than her. Whenever she wants to do this 3-point competition, it's still a dub for me and an L for you.
Okay, Bailey, you got that. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure I clip this up so that you and send it to you so you can share that with Bailey Burns. Okay. This other person, who do we have here? Heroine's Soul. Okay. I hope I'm saying that right.
Okay.
What is one thing that you would tell a new head coach?
Remove yourself from the center of your universe. Because I think it's really easy for, especially, we're competitive and we want to win. If you were a player ever at any level and you step into this role, you think, I am a winner, so I'm going to win. And I tell coaches all the time, knowing how to lose is also a skill. No, we don't want to be losers. But you have to be able to, one, lose with dignity. But what can I learn from this? There is something that I am supposed to learn about myself and my team. What can I take away from this? So I know we have all lost more than we have won in this lifetime. So we can really reflect on those losses and be introspective about them. Like, what can we take away from them, and remove ourselves from the center of it? So it's not about me and my ego, and it's not necessarily all about like, what did I do wrong or right? But there's going to be something else in there, and I think there's beauty in that when we can remove ourselves and learn how to lose differently. Well.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Coach, play a game with me. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do, actually, before we get to the game, let's do this. Easiest part of the job that nobody knows about. What you got?
Building a relationship with kids, meeting them where they are.
Okay. Toughest part of the job that nobody knows about.
Exactly what I said, removing yourself from the center of it, removing your ego, and knowing how to take that L on the chin. When you're a competitor, it's hard to just walk away from a game and just accepting the loss. And we beat ourselves up, like we lose sleep. We want to watch the film 50 million times and give feedback on every minute detail. But it's really hard to walk away from something and say, you know what, I'm handling it. I'm finding lessons. I'm going to get back in the film room with my team, and we're just going to learn from this. That's hard to do.
Yeah, and I tell people that over the years, as the years progress, I sleep better during the season.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, I'm tired. But I have to watch the game before I go to sleep.
Okay.
I have to watch the game before I go to sleep. Okay. Who do you think has the tougher job, coaches or officials?
Oh, I used to say officials. I used to, hands down, officials. I watch and hear all the awful things people yell at officials in the stands. But now that I'm a couple of years into this coaching world, I have to say both. And I hate giving that answer, but I think both, because some of the things that I haven't necessarily have experienced directly, maybe indirectly as an assistant coach, I think really, really hard when people don't get their way. Parents can be enablers, but helicopter parents don't know how to allow their kids to fail forward. Admin, I think sometimes you don't always get the administrative support that you're looking for, that maybe you did have at one point, but maybe they just switched up on you. Maybe it is on the administrative side in the school itself. So maybe it's like APs, principals, things of that nature that coaches are having to deal with. Coaches have to deal with so much, and we don't really have like the manpower. We don't have a Dobo and a video coordinator and special assistant to the assistant. We don't have all those things. Sometimes it's just us, and it's an assistant who's good at analytics. Maybe they can break down some data for you. And the officials on the other side, they don't get paid enough for being called lousy, and this is not their only job. And, maybe they just still want to affect the game in some capacity, but they don't necessarily want to coach. So officiating is their route to still do that. So I don't know. I try not to talk to the officials. I try not to.
I try not to as well. I'm not always successful. Listen. So I officiated 5 games a couple weeks ago. And when I tell you, I could have blown my whistle every trip down the floor.
Yeah.
There was a foul or a travel every trip down the floor. And I was just thinking, I was like, man, if I blow my whistle every time down the floor, we are going to be here forever.
You're never going to get out of there. You're never going to get out of there. Yeah.
Okay, Coach. If you could be anything other than a coach, what would you be?
I'd be an English teacher. I'm already an English teacher, but I tell my kids when I'm done, I'm teaching 1301, 1302. I'll be dual credit. You won't see me on the court. Maybe I'll volunteer. I've always wanted to give more of myself as a teacher, and not that I probably could find ways to be a little bit more creative, but I'm not as inspired because I got to be this head coach. So there's going to be days where I'm like, hey, we're reading this passage. This is what we're looking for. I need to finish picking up this film, So yeah.
This is why, and coach, I'm not saying this tongue in cheek. This is my third time saying this, but this is why I think you're going to be really an outstanding coach, because the growth mindset, and you love teaching.
Yeah.
You love teaching.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's play a game. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So I try to whip up some type of game for every guest. I've been doing agree, disagree this season, but we're going to do fast break with Coach Taylor.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw, I got 20 questions. I normally don't do this many, but I'm going to throw all 20 of these questions at you, Coach.
Okay.
So we're just rapid fire style. We're going to call this fast break with Coach Taylor. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Houston BBQ or Austin BBQ?
Austin BBQ.
Do you have a pregame hype song?
It's probably some worship gospel music playlist. Not a song, but a playlist, yes.
Okay. This ain't on the list, but who's your favorite gospel artist?
Right now, who's my favorite gospel? Anna Golden. I don't know if you know who that is. I may be older than her. She may be 29, maybe 30. She's recently moved to Dallas. She's amazing. If I don't know if anyone has ever heard of like Elevation Worship. She's done like some collabs with other groups, but she does have her, like, I think she's releasing a new album really soon, but I listen to her all the time. And my kids know if I ever run into her, we will be best friends. We will be besties.
Okay. One word that describes your coaching style.
Passionate.
What nickname would your team give you?
Cree. They already do. They say Coach Bree is who I am every day, and Cree is my alter ego, because I start saying things like, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you.
Okay. So now, next question. What is the most used phrase in your practice gym?
Get on the floor. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you.
Okay.
What else? Do it with two hands.
Okay. The things that were on
yes.
the board in the beginning of the episode.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Early morning practice or late night film?
Early morning practice. I'm a morning person.
Film session or scouting report?
Scouting report.
Who's the tougher scout? Moriah Jefferson or Chaney Spencer?
Moriah Jefferson. Moriah Jefferson in her, like, high school, college, Mojo.
Okay.
Yeah. Chaney, love her. She knows I love her, but come on.
Just not there yet. Not there
no.
yet. All right. NIL in high school, potential opportunity or potential obstacle?
Obstacle. I think it's going to be a great opportunity short term. I need to get my family out of this situation. Maybe I have taken a financial literacy class. I know how to save. I have parents who are going to put it away, whatever. But I think it is going to teach kids. It reinforces this microwave generation of a child. Like, I can get money fast by doing this, I like to see, we're not reinventing the wheel here. I didn't. Kids have been really, really good at basketball since the beginning of freaking grassroots sports, right? And they weren't getting paid. They were inspired and they played with passion. And some may argue they were even better. So what's the difference now? I guess we're using their likeness, but I don't think it's going to make them play any better or worse. I think kids need to be kids. These kids, we need to allow them to be kids. And I don't think we're really making space for them to be children. Okay.
Biggest rivalry game for Lake Creek?
Montgomery.
Okay. Give me one thing you can't coach, speed or instinct?
Instinct.
What's your favorite snack after a win?
Seaweed. I hate answering that because people judge me. Well, my kids know I love seaweed.
I did judge you on accident. I'm sorry. My bad. I judge you just a little bit.
It's okay. But it's my favorite snack.
Okay. What current WNBA player would you love for your team to meet?
Ariel Atkins. Ariel was my teammate, amazing person. Like you're talking about character, just class, humility, all the things that make a great human. That's Ariel. And she has done everything that you could possibly accomplish as a basketball, everything. Olympic gold medalist, WNBA champ, starter. Like she was number 7 draft pick, like amazing basketball player, but human. Yeah.
Okay. High school playoffs. More exciting as a player or coach?
I would say more exciting as a coach. Because I only had my experiences to go off of. My first time making playoffs at Eastview, I cried. So Eastview, yeah, I know. And it's different when you get kids who will run through a wall for you and you see the fruits of their labor and it pays off for them, So just being excited for them and all the hard work that they put into it. And I tell my kids this all the time, I won't be embarrassed. I've already done this. I've done this, and it's not embarrassing for me. The losses aren't embarrassing for me. I hate it for them. I love it for them when they get to really enjoy the great parts of this game. I love that for them.
That's good. Good stuff. All right. What was your first job ever?
First job ever was Austin Parks and Rec. End of my senior year of college. I had an internship, and that turned into a full-time position, like post-graduation for a couple months. But it was awesome giving back to just like underprivileged youth in Austin and getting in the gym with them and showing them like how to play basketball. And there were some really good kids just like on the east side of Austin who could really hoop. So I would play against them. So it was really fun.
Okay. All right. We got about 4 more in this 20. I know it's 20, coach. It's a lot.
No, you're good. You're good. Keep on coming.
What's the better feeling? A buzzer beater or a perfect defensive stop?
A perfect defensive stop. I made you do what you didn't want to do. I made you do that.
If you could be coached by any coach, living or dead, who would you choose?
Okay, I think I put myself on there, but I want to change I'll keep that, but I want to change my answer to Carol Lawson.
Okay.
Because she's just so inspiring. I think Carol Lawson gets her kids to play really hard because words matter. And I think she's very careful and very meticulous with the way that she uses her language. And I think that's important. I would love to be on the other side of that, like in hype in the locker room. And then I put myself because, again, not to be arrogant or to be selfish. I hate to sound that way, but I try to make a conscious effort to be who I needed as a coach with my kids. And I try to be really thoughtful about who they need. And I can't always show up the same for every single kid. Some kid may need something very different. And I thought about that this year because Chaney Spencer was having a really hard stretch of games. And I just remember praying for her. And that is something that I'll always remember. And her mom reaching out to me, and it was just after that game, and it was nothing I did. I tell her mom that it was not me. That's someone bigger than ourselves. If you believe in God, and I tell her that all the time. That's God just meeting us where we need to be. And so, showing up for kids differently. And so I try to be very thoughtful about how I do that.
Okay. Now, Coach, this is going to be the last question, actually, because I doubled up. I put one question on here twice. But last question in fast break with Coach Taylor. What's the biggest challenge for young athletes today?
Perfectionism. I think young athletes today think that everything has to go well, or they're so easily embarrassed. That's what I realized. You're embarrassed by that airball, girl? People airball every day, every day. So it's hard for them to move on. It's hard for them to respond well because everything has to go perfectly, And I tell my team, muck it up. It doesn't have to be pretty. we're not the Warriors, you know, everything's not going to be a flare on the weak side for a three that doesn't touch the rim, you know, like that's not perfect. We don't live in a perfect world. And so I think it's really hard for them to get out of their own ways because they're so outside of basketball. It's the same thing, you know, they're striving for perfection in all the things that they do. So when they meet a little bit of adversity, sometimes they succumb to it. So I think as coaches, we have to get them to what Kara Lawson says is to handle hard well.
Yep, handle hard better. That's
it.
Yeah. So so a couple of things. So when kids shoot air balls in our practice, we say air ball.
Yeah.
Right. As coaches, like we say it when somebody, we encourage them to hit each other with the too small and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The kids think we're joking and playing, but we have to explain to them like, hey, if this happens in the game, you've already experienced it. It means nothing.
Exactly.
It means absolutely nothing.
Yes.
And when we did our one-on-one meetings at the end of this year, I came to the realization that we have a crisis of confidence running rampant in our kids.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to start either a book study or a podcast review just to try to help our kids build that confidence, because it's the same thing, that perfectionism. And if it's not perfect, then I need to stop. It's that growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. And they will tell you that, no, I don't think I'm the best I'm ever going to be.
Right.
But they don't quite grasp the concept that growth is not linear.
Yes.
It's not linear. There's going to be, I try to talk to them about like the stock market. Mm-hmm. There's going to be dips. There's going to be ups and downs in this thing. But if we could draw a trend line, that trend line is going to be towards growth.
Right.
This is great. This is good stuff. All right. But we're in crunch time.
Yeah.
So crunch time, we'll go 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
So we'll go 3 in the key. 3 things all coaches need. 2 shots, 2 of the most difficult or foul things that you've experienced in your role. And then the last thing will be one thing that you want to share before we exit. So we'll start with 3 in the key.
Okay.
3 things that all coaches need. What do you have for us, Coach?
3 things that all coaches need. Discipline. I think that's very important. I think everyone needs a measure of discipline. A mentor. Mm-hmm. I think I alluded to that earlier. And
I put it right there on the screen for you.
Passion. I was going to say humility, but passion is good too. Passion is good too, because I tell my players all the time, I can't remember who I heard this from, had to be an NBA player, to play inspired. And I'm going to coach you with passion. So I think that if those things can intersect, then we can walk away with the win no matter what the score reflects.
That's good. Good stuff. 3 in the key. Discipline, passion, inspiration. Yeah. Play with inspiration. Yeah. And great mentorship. All right, Coach, this brings us to 2 shots, 2 of the most difficult or foul things that you've experienced as a coach. What do you have for us?
I'm probably going to change my answer from what I wrote down, but I watched parents after a game just cuss out one of my players, belittle them, degrade them, just like as they're walking off the court, adults, I watched them do this. And that was really, really hard for me to watch, because that's a child and this is a game. And I think that if we are going to teach our kids that basketball is a large part of what you do, it's a large part of, your life, or if you play for, I don't know, to 10, 12 years, whatever, but it's not who you are. And if that is what we are trying to convey, then we have to ensure that it aligns with the messages that we're sending them as they exit a court. Like that was really hard for me to watch. Second thing, what was the question again? Hardest thing?
Yeah, 2 of the most difficult or foul things that you've experienced as a coach?
I can't remember the second thing I said. Okay.
Let me ask you this. So I just piggybacking off something you said earlier. I tell my coaches, I mean, not my coaches, my kids, I would love to play for me because I will take a kid out of the game for not being aggressive.
Yes.
Right. So it's like, hey, like, you don't want to shoot? Come sit down.
Well, okay. That's it. You just sparked it. You just, there it is. I've heard coaches tell kids they limit them. And that's really hard for me because I've seen what that can do at every single level. Just how placing limitations on a kid. And maybe you can get into a film session and talk about where the better shot may be. Where the higher percentage shot is on the floor, but to tell a kid to stop shooting in a game, and then you expect them to not be humiliated or for their confidence to be shot, that's tough. I think there's a different way that we can convey that there's a better shot on the floor. One more. You can say, hey, I'm gonna use Cheney because she's got tough skin. Cheney, one more, instead of saying, stop shooting. I've heard that so much. I think that's foul. And then you're gonna wonder why the kid won't look at the basket. You're gonna wonder why, they are turning down wide open looks off of kickouts, off of paint touches. They're turning down the best shots when sometimes that is gonna be the best shot for you. That kid receiving that pass off of the kickout, a paint touch, that corner three, and now they won't even look at the rim,
And it's important. So coaches, this is where it's our responsibility to prepare our kids for those situations. This is where we get the opportunity to really coach our kids. Yeah. Hey, and if you don't want a kid to shoot, then maybe that kid shouldn't be on the floor.
They should have known it before they've taken it. The kid should know before it gets to stop shooting. The kid should go, that I shouldn't have taken that shot, coach. I know. You
know where your spots are.
Exactly.
You know where your spots are, and that wasn't your spot. Hey, is that the best shot we could have gotten? All right. We could go on and on forever, but we won't. So, Coach, this brings us to the very last thing in this episode. This is and one. One thing. It can be anything that you would like to share before we exit. What do you have for and one?
I got one thing, and I thought about this because I've already talked about Chaney Spencer twice, and she is an amazing player, a really, really great person. And this year I had to share with her, we talked about humility a lot, right? And I think when there's these players, these big name players, they feel the need, they feel compelled to carry the team. I have to carry the load. If we don't win, it's my fault. If I don't score 30, it's my fault. If I score 30 and we still lose, it's my fault. Everything is my fault. And you see the weight of the world on these kids' shoulders, and it's crushing them. And I tell all of my players, don't carry us, lead us. We don't need you. I don't need you to carry the load. I need you to be a servant leader. What does that look like? And I think once we started having those conversations, it just released the pressure. And so I urge all athletes and coaches to have that conversations with maybe their more dominant players. What does that look like? What is not carrying the load, but leading? What does that look like for them? Because it may look different from player to player. Your role may be to score 15 points a game. That still does not mean that you have to carry the load of the team. That means that you know how to be a great playmaker and a great game manager is what we talk about often. So I think that changed the course of our year is once we had that conversation. And so she would write that on her all the time. Don't carry us. And she became a better leader. And I had to look myself in the mirror and say the same thing to myself. As a person who sits in that chair of leadership, I can be the servant leader that I am. I can lead from the front. I can make sure my players are equipped with all the things, but I can't play the game for them. So again, it's losing well, knowing that, I stepped away from the game and I prepared as well. I did all the things, but I can't do everything. I can't be everything. So, yeah.
And that is why you will be one of the absolute best to coach in this game. You dropped a gem on us. Don't carry us, lead us. Everybody, thank you for joining us on the Coaches Co-op. Big thanks to today's guest, Coach Bree Taylor, for sharing her journey and her wisdom. Listen, everybody, if you are walking away from this episode with new insight or energy for your team or for your program, or if you're a coach walking away with new insight or energy, then we have done our job. So what I need you to do is hit that like button, follow, subscribe, leave a 5-star review. Coach, do me a favor. I'm going to get us out of here, but hang back just for a second, okay?
All right.
All right, everybody. My name is Coach Prejean. For Coach Brianna Taylor, we're out of here, and I need y'all to remember, at the Coaches Co-op, we do what most people can't. Until next time, y'all be easy.